Welcome to Martin Survival. Today I'm going to show you how to create an ember with the hand drill using the two-hole method. So stay with me and we'll be back shortly. All right, so welcome back to Martin Survival. Now, in order to create fire using this two-hole technique, we're going to need a few materials, and I want to go over that right now. The first thing is a good cutting tool. This is my Hele knife. This is a thin blade, so it's going to allow me to get in that space and carve out my notch, and I'll show you that in just a second. The most important thing, besides the knife, is our tinder bundle. We want to have this process down and ready to go. This is juniper. There's also cottonwood in this area. I find juniper works extremely well, and if you properly construct this tinder bundle, this will act as a flame extender. This will burn for at least 7 to 10 minutes, like I said, if you process it down correctly. So we'll set that to the side. The next thing is our hand drill. And this is a piece of seep willow, also known as mule fat. This is a soft wood. It's very common in Southern California as far as Arizona. And this is an excellent, excellent wood to use. And the last thing is our hearth board. This is a California fan palm rib. This wood works the best that I have found in this area. Usually the California fan palm will grow in environments where there's a lot of water, so in our lower riparian areas, that's where you will find these ribs, and they work excellent with the seep willow, also known as mule fat. So now let me show you how to create an ember using this two-hole technique. Now, it's very important to actually stay hydrated when using the hand drill or any fire. Especially this technique. There's a lot more work compared to our classic way of creating fire by friction. So right here you can see there's 2 holes in this rib. This is an ember I achieved yesterday. The major advantage with this technique is it shields that ember from the wind, and that's huge in the desert. Now the disadvantage is it takes a lot of energy, a lot of time, a lot of patience, and a lot of calories to make this. Also hydration. You blow through hydration using this technique. So this is really a last resort for me. I do not prefer this method unless I absolutely have no other choices. So what I'm going to do first is always keep your tinder bundle near you and by your side. You do not want to bring the ember to the tinder bundle. We want to bring the tinder bundle to the ember because our ember can blow away if we're traveling locations. And yes, even when it is shielded inside of that little hole. And I'll show you in a second. So the first thing I want to do is I want to create a hole in my hearth board, also known as a fireboard, about the diameter of my spindle and about halfway into the wood. So I'll go ahead and do that right now. So I just drill it down nice and deep. Now with the classic way of achieving an ember with the hand drill, we don't want to go too deep. But once again, with this, we're trying to catch that ember in this second hole to shield it from the wind. All right, so that should be about good. Now I can start burning this in. So there's actually 2 burn-in processes compared to the classic way of creating an ember. Now what I like to do is I usually like to go barefoot, and that's what I will do right now. Well, I'll just take off my shoes, because you need to feel what you're doing no matter what. That's what I always tell my students in the classes. You need to feel what you're doing. Okay, so that's about halfway through. Now I'm going to take this dust and I'm going to dump it on top of my tinder bundle. The ember loves that dust. Now from there, what I need to do is I need to measure about 1/8 of an inch away from this hole that is halfway into this hearth board, and I need to create another burn-in hole. So, about right here, and we'll start drilling in. And we don't want to go halfway in. That's about good, and you can see it's spread apart by about 1/8 of an inch, which is the same diameter as my cutting tool. All right, so now we're ready to create the burn-in process with this hole. And I need a little bit more grip on my hands, so I'm gonna use saliva. Now once again, folks, I cannot stress the importance of staying hydrated using this method. This definitely takes a lot more energy. Okay, so that's good. Set the spindle to the side. Once again, dump this dust into our tinder bundle. The ember loves that dust. It burns nice and hot. Okay, so now at this point, I can now start carving my notch. And we're carving it right in the center, not quite halfway into the second hole, just right below that. And I want it about maybe 1/4 inch in diameter. So now I'm sure you guys can see what's going on here. The ember is going to transfer from this hole and dump into the deeper hole, therefore shielding itself from the wind. Now remember, if we're transferring our ember into our tinder bundle, and I never recommend doing that, the wind can carry that ember and blow it all over the place. You can fall. Anything can happen, so that's why I always recommend keeping that tinder bundle right by your side. All right, so now we are about ready to achieve our ember. And that's good right there. So 2 burn-in processes, carving our notch, and finally working for an ember, and then blowing that into flame. Okay, so we have an ember. Want to get that nice and strong. And now we can transfer it into our tinder bundle. Very slow and patience. And we have fire. Just like that, using the 2-hole method. All right, guys, so that's just about going to wrap things up for me today. Now, if you are looking for additional information on the 2-hole technique, I highly recommend checking out Morris Kohansky's book called Bushcraft. He has a lot of good information in there, and not only that, he goes into great detail regarding this particular technique. So with that being said, I do appreciate you joining me for this video. I'm Jeff with MartinSurvival.com, and we'll see you in the next one.